Welcome to part 3 of the top 25 favorite anime. Without further ado, let us begin. Number 15, F A Tale of Memories. Now, I admit this show isn't perfect. There are little things in between the show that are done severely wrong. I admit the romance has its moments where it can be at best. And I admit it's not perfect. But god damn it, when it had me hooked, it had me really hooked. The show is great. I think the story is actually very fascinating, even if I have not watched the second season Melodies yet. I think that the characters, despite some people's obvious dislike of them, are actually pretty good. For the most part. Yeah, as I said in my review, there's at least one or two I don't really like. But I overall like the characters. I thought the animation was pretty good from Shaft. And I don't care what other people's opinion of Shaft is. I rather like some of their animation styles when they're not doing bullshit shows. Yeah, I've explained already about those, so I'll just move on. And also, I just really liked the show. I thought it had a great story when it wanted to have it. I thought it had great characters when it wanted to have it. That's kind of the reason it's not going to get any higher, is because, quite frankly, it does have major problems, and I won't lie to say that there are some things that probably hurt the anime more than help. But overall, I really enjoyed the anime, and I do think it's one of the better romances out there. Number 14, Attack on Titan. Now, this show is really, really good. And quite frankly, I have a lot of great things to say about it. Its story is addictive and fast-paced for the most part, but it really is, and you are hooked from episode 1 to episode 25. Now, I admit the characters are not always at their best, but when they are, they're great. Simply amazing. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen as often as I would have liked. And I think the animation is some of the best that Studio Wit has ever made. I think it's their only work still, along with Production IG's help. And I do think the music's pretty good, enough that I bought the soundtrack to this. This won't be the last time I talk about a soundtrack, by the way, of ones I've bought. You'll see that later on. Now, another thing I really liked about Attack on Titan was just the premise. And I find it really a fascinating story, and I want to see where it continues to go. Now, I am very much hoping for a second season, but I have my doubts. And it's really sad if they don't make a second season. I hope they do. But if they don't, I will be annoyed. Because this story is great. Don't end up like Berserk, where you stop it right at a certain point and then just never go back to it. Don't be Berserk. Please, even though I've not even seen Berserk yet. But overall, I really do enjoy Attack on Titan, and I hope to continue to for many years to come. Number 13, Future Diary. Now, I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again. Future Diary is my guilty pleasure when it comes to this countdown. A lot of what is in this show is everything I detest in anime. Rape? Check. Gore and over-the-top violence? Check. Just hateable characters? Check. Over-confusing story? Check. Dark for the sake of being dark? Check. Basically, a lot of what I hate in anime is in Future Diary. Yet, it is one of my favorites. I am still perplexed to this mystery, and I think I will always be perplexed to this mystery because I don't get it. Why do I like Future Diary so much? But, you know what? I just do. I guess it could be potentially the Elfenlied effect and like how people like Elfenlied because it just doesn't give a damn who you are. And that's kind of why I like Future Diary, though not quite, because I still think there's some good in Future Diary. But the thing is, I don't know why I like it as much as I do, but I just do, and that's all I need to know. Number 12, the famous Cowboy Bebop. Now, I need to explain something right now. I've recently been trying to rewatch the entire series, so that's why a lot of this countdown has actually been kind of delayed, is because I've been trying to rewatch it so I can gather a more perfect spot for it. And while I will say that I don't like it quite as much as other people do, hell, a lot of other people would have it in their top 5, I have tremendous respect for this anime. No other anime has my respect quite like Cowboy Bebop. There is one debatably, but Bebop is for me one of the most respected anime I will ever find, for a great many reasons. One of them being it led to the creation of some of my other favorite anime. Look up ones from the past entries to the future entries that were made by Studio Bones, because Bebop was directly involved in the creation of it. But that's not the only reason of why I like Bebop and why it gets the spot. It gets the spot because it's a pretty damn good story. It's episodic, but it has continuity. It's a grand story about all these characters and their lives. And I'll be honest, the second time through watching this has been a treat, because I never realized all the little details the first time through, and I'm now getting to enjoy them during my second time through. So I think Bebop is better after a rewatch, though maybe wait a bit before you rewatch it. Honestly, I have tremendous respect for an anime that can do that, and Bebop is so far been one of the best in that regard. Honestly, also, I just really like the show, and I can't deny that. It's a really good show and deserves to be one of the most popular anime here in the West, period. I will say this right now. I love this show, and I think as a gateway anime and as the one that introduced many a generation, this deserves so much praise. More than Attack on Titan, more than almost any other anime in existence. Bebop is a legend that I hope continues on through generations and generations. Number 11, Madoka Magica. Now, this series is another one that is very well known as being the one that put Gen Urobuchi on the map. Because let's face it, Gen Urobuchi is now a really famous writer. And quite honestly, it's a good reason. It's a really, really good show. Okay, it starts kinda slow with the first 2 episodes, but then again, so did Cowboy Bebop with its first 4. Now, why do I like it? A lot of it has to do with the story and how it's told. It is dark, it is tragic, and it just does everything right with the story. I have no complaints with the story, excluding the first 2 episodes. Then we have the characters, which are amazing. Well, mostly Madoka can be kind of flat, but everyone else makes up for it. And quite honestly, just everything else about the anime, I just really enjoy. I love this anime to death. And it's not hard to see why. A lot of people like it. There are a few that don't like it or are indifferent to it. But that's their choice. They don't have to like this series, and that's fine by me. I don't like every series everyone else likes, so they're entitled to their opinions, and I will respect that. But for me, I really enjoy this series.